Okay, so in this video we are going to see how to modify the code of a new Vim plugin that you want to, let's say you want a new feature that is not implemented yet, and we will go through how to do it. So what we want is, let's say we are inside a word tree, and by now if I move from one word tree to another, the node modules folder is copied over the new word tree that we moved in. And also if I, let's say now we are in path aliases and now we move to the npm workspaces word tree, you can see here that once we moved, then a command was sent to all the terminals. So now in this terminal we are inside the npm workspaces word tree. Now how can we do this? And also I want a new feature, which is when I remove a word tree, I want the node modules folder to be copied over to the penultimate word tree, to the last word tree that I was working before moving to this one. Okay, so in order to modify the code for a new Vim plugin, what we can do is inside the spec for the plugin, you can point with these two options to a local repository. In this case, the original plugin was developed by the Primitian, and then Polarmutix took it over, and then I forked Polarmutix repo. So now inside here I pushed some changes to make the plugin work the way I want, and it's quite coupled to the way I want it to behave. So it was not useful to create a pull request to the Polarmutix because it was tightly coupled to the behavior I wanted. But anyways, that's not important. The important thing is to show how to do it by yourself. So once you set these options, then you can modify the code inside your local repository, which is this one, and then you will see the changes applied directly. So in order for me, for example, to apply a new or develop a new feature, first I start searching the API of the plugin, and in case I can extend it, then that's what I do, which is how I implemented the code for for copying over the node modules and sending a command to all terminals to move from one word tree to another. Here we can see the code. The plugin exposes a switch event. We can hook into them, and then over here we are, in case the node module folder exists, we are renaming it to the new path. Then we are also looping through all the ignored files, and we are doing exactly the same. We are moving to the new word tree. We are reloading the tree, and then we are sending the command to cd to the new word tree to all terminal buffers, and then we are updating the the JSON object, the file, into disk to preserve the information of the last active word tree and the penultimate word tree. That we can see it over here inside local share nvim, inside word trees folder. I have a JSON for each of my Git word trees repositories. For example, here I have the last active word tree was the one with feature CLI improvements, and the penultimate one was WT develop. Now, for storing this information, then what we can do is when we, let's say, we remove a word tree, the one inside here, with WT npm workspaces, then what we can do is we can move this folder to the penultimate one, to the penultimate word tree. In order to implement it, first I started thinking into extending the functionality of the plugin, and there is a hook called delete. But the problem is that at the time this code executes, the node module folder was already removed. So I had to modify it inside the plugin. So I forked the repository of Polarmutix, put it inside this path, set the dir and dev keys inside the plugin spec, and then I started looking the code, and I located that there is a function called m.delete inside wordtree.lua, and simply what I added was these lines, which basically you get the penultimate word tree information from the JSON that I saw before, and then if the node modules exist on the word tree that we are deleting, then we are copying the node modules, which is just calling this function. And then we can see it in action. If we move to this folder, we can see if we move to the path aliases, then the node modules is inside this folder and not inside the npm workspaces. And if now we move to the workspaces, then the node modules is inside here. But what we want now is, if we remove this word tree, let's remove it with Ctrl D in my case. Now it was removed, and the node modules is inside the penultimate word tree, which was path aliases. and we can see also a print statement that I wrote, where we can see that the node modules from the npm workspaces move to the WT path aliases.